All right, well, if we should go ahead and get started, and then as folks join us, they'll just mix right into the flow of things here. Um, so thank you all. Welcome. Good evening. Happy Friday. I hope everyone's had a lovely day. And my name is Megan Rasco. I will be your guide and your host this evening for this Autonomy Quest session. I'm guest hosting this week. And I'm a season 10 autonomy graduate. So I just graduated here recently, and I'm still integrating and benefiting from my experience in autonomy. And so I'm really excited to get to share with you guys this evening. Tonight, we're going to talk with autonomy graduates. So there's several graduates that are on the line with us that we can chat with them, hear about their experience, and get some more information and answer any questions that folks have. And as we get further into the information, then we'll open up the mic. And anybody with a question, just feel free to, you can either use the raise your hand button, or if you're brave enough, go ahead and just speak right up and ask your questions. It's a very welcoming group here, and it's not at all frowned upon if you guys will pop in with your questions. So I have some gifts to share with you guys here before we wrap up this evening. There are some courses that you guys, or some media that you guys can access, and we will share that with you. I'll put some URLs in the chat, but then also you don't fret if you don't catch all the URLs. They'll be shared with you by email in whatever way you registered to come to the class this evening. Those URLs be shared with you there too. So don't feel like you have to scramble to get it all down. All right, so tonight we are going to hear from Kara, and she's going to tell us about her autonomy journey. And so we have a recording that Kara made a while ago. We're going to take a look at that. And then after that, then I'm going to ask Kara some further questions, and then we'll have more discussion. All right. Let's jump to this clip and we'll be right back.
Hello there. I am pleased to announce that I just celebrated my year anniversary of joining Autonomy. And one of the coolest things was to go back and look at my before Autonomy self-assessment, and looking about where I was at that time. I was still waitressing. I was a breakfast waitress for 11 years, and really felt stuck. I felt very, very stuck in the grind. My goals are simple. I want a simple life, to live comfortably, and I want to start a family. I want to start a family with my husband, and I intend to homeschool. And so the goal of that is to be able to work from home and still be able to pull my weight and provide for my family. I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to do that. Last year, over a year ago, I had even tried another course with the same kind of intentions, and still things just weren't going anywhere. And I joined Autonomy, and foot on the gas pedal, everything started moving. Less than 2 months, I had my business license. By the end of the year, I was shaving several days off of my work week of waitressing and able to supplement more time freelancing. And the beginning of March, when COVID hit, it was the push that I needed to quit waitressing and start working from home full time. And there's no way that I could have done it before without Autonomy. If I had, it would have taken me a lot longer. Scarcity mindset has gone away. My self-doubt has drastically lessened and gone away. Now I'm the copywriting team captain for Autonomy Unlimited, and I get to spend my days helping clients that I care about, that share my values, and helping others coming through Autonomy on their journey to success. So I'm teaching, I am just living in my element. Things have just emerged in the most beautiful way in my life. I really can't imagine what my life would be like without having joined Autonomy. I can't stress that enough. I feel so grateful for Richard, for the community, for the course, for everything that I've gained from it. Um, I can't imagine life any other way.
Welcome. Thank you for showing up tonight and giving a little bit of bright light to the new students, but not so bright that we blind them, right? This is supposed to be like the sun rising, and we're going to just show them a glimmer of what's over the next 12 weeks as they start to traverse. How did you find autonomy, and how did you start climbing out of your everyday situation that, like, people were in situations and they didn't really think it all out, right? So people find themselves, they're in a job. How did I get here? And so you had some moments of clarity and you started to embrace education for yourself in a variety of ways, not just this course. And then you started to change, adapt, evolve, and, naturally the cream rises to the top when you practice that excellence. I know that's a long lead in, but how would you phrase it?
I was a breakfast waitress for 11 years. Truthfully didn't think that I would do a whole lot else. At the time, I just said, I'm making enough money to, get by. And, I still have some extra time to do what I want to do. But I did have one of my big dreams, big ambitions is I wanted to enter motherhood. And I figured, well, I want to be working from home. I want to be doing something so I can be home with my kid. And through autonomy, autonomy, I feel like did two really big things for me. Yes, it did change my entire work life, just a lot of life, but it really transformed me as a person. Like I gained so much self-confidence and realization that I could be independent, that I didn't have to just continue on with mediocrity my whole life. And so, through autonomy, I started learning more and more about copywriting, started getting more jobs. And kind of like how you mentioned at the beginning of the call, where, some people would, go through a season and not really participate a whole lot. That was me. Season 2, I didn't unmute. I wasn't in the Q&As, I was just sitting in the background.
And you missed out. And you
I
figured
did.
it out on your own time.
Yep, being my little introverted self, at the time. And so, I got to take everything in, but of course, I didn't experience a whole lot of transformational growth. And so season 3, I really dove in and hit the ground running. And that's when a lot of things started to change for me. And so at the end of that season, I had my business license. I was only working, I think, one day a week at the restaurant, just holding on to that little safety net until COVID came and kicked that in the butt for me. And gave me the kick I needed to finally, quit the restaurant job and go, working for myself full time. So, got really good at copywriting. It's something I've been doing for many years. But there did come a point where I was feeling a little unsatisfied, and it was a little confusing at the time because I said, well, I've accomplished my goal. I'm independent. I'm working for myself. Why do I still feel misaligned? And that was when I met Ron. And I love that Ron was able to come on and, speak first and speak a little bit there, because it really was that synchronicity of him and I meeting, through some marketing stuff. And at the time I was leading some small, low caliber accountability groups, in autonomy. And he offered, said, hey, I could give you some tips on how to do this better. And through our conversations, I just started to learn more and more about coaching and absolutely fell in love with this work. I mean, now I feel like I'm really aligned with what I'm supposed to do in my life. And so even though, copywriting and marketing I don't consider it to be my calling, but that was the path that I needed to take to get the confidence, get the right mindset so that I could pursue this new passion and this thing that I want to do. So coming full circle, I feel like now I get this beautiful opportunity to give back to you and this community that has given so much and changed my life. So here I am.
And I give you the credit to you, because you went from that wallflower stage to, I'm going to go and I'm going to make changes, actively make changes to my life. It's a scary thought for people, like, because it's a lot of self-responsibility. It's like you buy something from the factory and it's got all these switches and dials and it's all tuned from the factory. And we're kind of scared to like move those dials because it might mess things up. But you're going to have to like turn your education up and turn your care about what other people think about you educating yourself down and get out there.
right, welcome back. All right, Kara, if I can ask you some questions to further dive into some of the information you shared there. Thank you so much for what you did share in the clips. It was really great to hear. First
Can I
of all,
Can I just
yep.
say it's so funny to watch that evolution, because you see the first video was, my first year after joining Autonomy, and I was the motivate this guy right here was my motivation to, get out of the, mundane 9 to 5, and start, being independent, working for myself. And then the second clip, I was pregnant with him. And now he's a little over 3 months old, so it's really interesting to watch that evolution, and how it's come to fruition, literally.
Absolutely. And it's phenomenal to have something so concrete, right? Something you can hold in your hands and treasure to show for the efforts that you've put into yourself. And that's what a beautiful gift you've given yourself. And through this experience, also what you've given to your son.
Absolutely.
All right. So in the first clip, you said you had taken another course before you signed up for Autonomy. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience? Just kind of where maybe you thought the pitfalls were, or how you didn't get what you were looking for.
Yeah, well, it was these courses on excellence, and it was I got introduced to them through a friend, and they were kind of, similar in a sense that it was about trying to shift your mindset and try, get out of your own way to achieve what you want to achieve. I think and they were a series of seminars, so kind of like one-off, where, all right, you go to this great weekend experience, you get, really high on the experience, and you meet these people, and then you go back home and you don't really see anybody again. Whereas Autonomy was like, it takes a lot to change patterns, and we all have these, self-destructive patterns and self-limiting beliefs that are getting in our way, keeping us from reaching our goals, from just how we want to show up in life. And Autonomy, it's like, provides more than just a one-off. It provides the constant practice ground or playground to stumble, to figure yourself out, and then also to engage with this amazing community to help keep each other on track. So this is, I think, the biggest thing that I started to learn, is I learned all the things about shifting my mindset, and then had the support and the structure to actually do it, to actually make the shift, for it to stick. Takes some time, takes some trial and error. There's always stumbling blocks along the way, but that was one of the beautiful things that, Autonomy taught me also, was the beauty of failing forward, of embracing failure, and like learning from it, learning from the times when you're less than perfect and falling short. And sorry, looking straight up at me, you're distracting. But that's really what, Autonomy gave me, and gave me that shift. And now it's, something that I'm able to, work with my clients and teach them.
Perfect. And one of the things that I really liked about seeing your kind of your before video and your after video was also in the first video we saw you you described how you went from your waitressing job to writing copy,
Mhm.
and that was giving you some momentum, and you were able to supplement your income to a point that you could let go of some of the waiting shifts, and then but then you grew into another skill.
Absolutely.
Can you give us more information about this other skill you grew into?
Yeah. So now I'm a life coach. I'm a life and accountability coach. And so I'm helping people do a lot of the things that I had to stumble through and figure out for myself. And, this is one of the kind of the missing pieces that I had just with my own Autonomy experience, was the accountability, and really having somebody in my corner to, not even hold my hand, but to cheer me on, to push me when I needed it, and to really hold me accountable throughout the journey. And so this is why, I mean, like I said in the video, at my first season, I was a little wallflower, and I didn't really speak up a whole lot. And then, once I kind of saw how everything worked. Side note, for to your first question, that's one of the amazing things I love about Autonomy, is the ability that we have to come back season after season. Because even as I've grown, I did those first couple seasons, and I kept coming back. And then, took a break. I never took a break from the community, but took a break from the content for a little bit until then I got sparked with this new love of coaching. And this is so last week on the Autonomy Quest, we were speaking with Ron Renaud, and he's a really successful coach out there in the world. And he and I met and just clicked, and he's been mentoring me now for the last 2.5 years. As well as, I've went and pursued my own training outside of that and got certified. But now it's like I'm really doing the work that I love to do. And kind of as I mentioned in the video, I mean, copywriting and marketing, that was the work that I was able to take a skill writing that I've always had, and I was able to really put it to work for me. And that in itself just had me realize, oh wait, I do have something to offer. I'm not just a waitress. I'm not just a minimum wage employee. Like, I really have something of value. And honestly, my time working at the restaurant, I'm great with people. It taught me how I can have a conversation with anybody. I can take these things that take the good, leave the bad, and then it was able to shift into being more independent with copywriting. And so, kind of to go back to your question about expanding on that more, when I started freelancing through, while working, going through the autonomy course, and then started freelancing, all of this stuff combined just catalyzed my mindset. And it gave me the confidence that I needed to, like, oh, I can do this. I can work for myself. I'm somebody, like, I do have value to offer people, whether it's, my clients or people around me. I have value to offer the world. And that's something that's really important to me. I'm a supporter personality. I love helping other people, and whatever I'm doing for work, I need to have that drive that I'm doing something for someone else. And so copywriting gave me that independence, gave me that confidence that I needed. So that then when it came time where, like I said in the video, I was really struggling because I was, I achieved my dream. I'm independent. I'm working from home. This is what I wanted. Why do I feel unsettled? And I was ready at that point for the next thing, which ended up being coaching. And if I had come across coaching earlier, I wouldn't have had the confidence to pursue it. I would have felt like, oh no, what do I have to offer? Well, how can I help these people? Oh, they're more successful than me. How can I help them? Well, I can help them a great deal. And I needed to go through that path, go through everything, and grow as a person to get to this point. And now, like I said, I mean, this is work that I know I'm going to do the rest of my life. I love it. Even if capitalism fell, this is work that I would still do just because I love it. I love working with people. I love helping them on their journeys. It feeds me. And so it's just a blessing to have found that path for me, that gives me that energizes me to feel energized after a call. When I can start a call feeling really, low energy, kind of in the dumps, and by the end of the call, I'm just like, oh, I'm just riding high and ready to go take on the world.
Right, fantastic. So autonomy has been multiple pieces of the puzzle for you that have helped you uncover your own potential that's been there all along, but with the limiting self-talk and the learned helplessness that most of us have when we come into autonomy, bringing those pieces together, tying it together, having a good place to practice those skills in the autonomy community, where you have people that are supportive, cheering you on, and we're all learning and growing together in a way that fosters growth. It sounds like it's just been a meteoric, just an absolute rocket ship for growth for you, because we're talking about all of this growth in the last basically 4 years.
Absolutely. And now I'm able to start giving that back, or I offer, coaching programs to autonomy students. And so we've got, I do one-on-one coaching, and I also do group accountability coaching, which has been really successful the last couple of seasons for those that have participated. Just having that weekly accountability, that space to really reflect, clear mental clutter, get that push when you really need it, and also get cheered on when you really need it. Getting, asking the right questions. That's really important to help dig deep and just get underneath all that stuff. I mean, like I keep saying, getting out of your own way so that you can really get things done. I mean, how many of us can relate to, all right, you have a goal, you know all the next steps to take, but what happens? Somehow you just keep falling off and you keep getting stuck. And like, we can make action steps and lifts all day long, but if you are not in the right place to be able to follow through, then it doesn't matter. So it comes back to, your way of being, like who you want to be in the world and how you want to show up with your work, your relationships, with all of it. That's a lot of the work that I do with people now.
Fantastic. And I know from my own graduate that I live with, that he went through some coaching sessions with you, and I know he got benefit out of it, and I know he's carrying that forward into his own personal success. And so, having witnessed that from the outside, I saw how very special and how very connected you are in the way that you can support and help other people. So,
Thank you.
I appreciate that. And what a gift it is for our autonomy space to have you be able to provide that to the community. Let me ask you a hard question here. Do you have any regrets about taking autonomy?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. It's been completely life-changing. And again, it's the whole package. I mean, we've got there's the course material, which continues. I mean, every season of autonomy, there's more and more stuff happening in the community. Other people are growing and offering their own courses and offerings into the community. There's so much. But that aside, just all the people, I mean, the relationships that I've built and the way that, we've been able to learn from each other, not just from Richard, who's, an unbelievable human and just a treasure trove of knowledge, but also being able to learn from each other. Just the whole shebang is such an amazing thing. I can't advocate it for it enough.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely speak to that. In the Q&As in particular, there would be a student that would ask a question, and the details of their question may not match up exactly with my situation, but I can see the bigger picture of what they've asked and go, oh yeah, I can apply. Oh, I'm so glad you thought of that question, because I didn't think of it that way, but yet I can apply that to myself, my situation, and benefit from the fact that we're all here together, willing to share in this experience. So the community aspect of autonomy, I think, is one of the most is it the most impactful part? No, we need the knowledge too. We need the course material, but having the community space in order to practice, to learn, and to grow together, I think, is just it's a gift that just keeps on giving. For sure. All right. Well, should we open the floor up to some questions from some other folks? Anybody willing? You don't have to turn your camera on if you're not comfortable. Just go ahead and jump on in. And if you just unmute yourself, you can ask a question. Go ahead, Edward. If you have a question, go right ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Okay. I spoke with Lisa the other day or last week about joining, and I guess I'm still on the fence about a few things, mainly because, well, I'm already running a business. Long story short, but I am running a business, but it's at the point where I don't know if it's something I want to continue doing, or if it's something that I want to push and expand, or if I should try to really plan for an exit, or there's a lot of things going on. I don't really know where to go. And I look at autonomy and I see kind of this whole, like, all these different aspects, a holistic aspect of just different skills and mindset. And I don't really know where to start. It just feels overwhelming to me. So I don't know if you had any responses or insight on that.
Sure. Kara, do you want to take this one?
I would love to. Yes. I completely understand and resonate with that. And, and there is overwhelm because there is a lot going on. Why one of the beauties of the lifetime access is really, really just beneficial overall. But, I used to have this joke with people coming into autonomy that I would say, if you're not overwhelmed, you're not doing it right. And I say that jokingly, but it's because there is a lot. but there's also replays of everything available. Everything's made. I mean, autonomy is the energy as far as autonomy, choice. You engage at the level that's going to work best for you, and when is going to work best for you. Now, so that's just kind of part of the overwhelm factor. As to the other, I mean, autonomy is built and designed to help you get clearer on what direction that you want to go. So, you know, no matter where you're starting out, by the end of the season, you are going to come. I firmly believe that, you know, you participate, you're going to come away with so much clarity on how you want to pursue with your business. Does it align with your passions and what you want to do with your life? Is it just the stepping stone to get you to the next place? You know, the environment is designed to help you get clear on that. And then you can come, you know, I've come back as my path changed. I came back, you know, another season and said, all right, well, now I'm going to engage with the material all over again. Going to engage with the material all over again with a whole new lens now. And I got, you know, even listening to the same lecture where, you know, he delivers them live every season, but similar content. But I got completely new things out of them as it related to my life as my life is changing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's it. What's coming up for you in response to that?
Well, there's a lot of use there. It's just I know I was, you know, struggling financially for a long time in the business and everything, the business I'm in, and I was just thinking, okay, I know I need to do something different. I know I need to shift. I know I need to put more action into my life. I guess another thing I think about too is like, is the online community, do you find that to be more of a help or a hindrance, or and do you think there needs to be like more offline meeting or more offline uh like gathering spaces as well, or
Yeah, great question. You know, and that's I think all of us would prefer, I mean, I think any of us would prefer to have an in-person experience. That's just, you know, that would be everybody's preference. You know, one of the beauties of the online is we get to have people from all over the world joining in these conversations and, you know, meeting different types of people you never would otherwise, which is a huge benefit. So I love that aspect of it. There are more and more local, like, you know, autonomy meetups for people that find, hey, we're actually in the same state. Let's just drive a couple hours and get together. So that is happening more and more. I have not personally found it to be a huge hindrance. I've talked with other people, you know, who if they feel a lot more strongly that, you know, hey, I just don't connect as well over the computer, and that's just each person's preference. But for the most part, what I've seen is it hasn't been a hindrance. It's allowed us all to, like I said, meet people you never would otherwise, and like mine.
okay.
Thanks so much for the question, Edward. Appreciate it. Who's next? Who's got a question?
I was just going to add something in regard to Edward's stuff. I think one of the things that you know, helps a lot, and is just having that opportunity to talk to other people about your situation. And you know, one of the exercises that we do is interviews with each other, and really just kind of going through the motions of kind of explaining what you value, what are the things that you do, you know, what are the situations that you find yourself in. It is one of those opportunities that just through doing that a number of times, you really get, and having feedback, of course, as well, does give you, you know, that perspective that, you know, really comes in handy, because it does give you a lot more confidence when, you know, other people agree with you when it comes to like what you're doing, or, you know, gives you some new ideas. And then, you know, you bounce those off some other people. And, you know, that's one of the things about this community is, you know, we're very supportive to each other, because we understand that, you know, when you succeed, we succeed. And, you know, it's all beneficial for everyone. So I really feel like you'd probably really enjoy that part. And another thing that I just did Mihai's applied psychology thing the other day, and we were having a little thing about values. And the question that he asked was like, what do you think about most? You know, and then how is that like how is that working towards the things that you want? And uh, like I was thinking, oh man, autonomy is what what I think about the most, but that is like that opportunity to practice, like, what is important to me, helping myself, but also helping other people. And then having that opportunity to practice it on a daily basis, it's just invaluable. But I will just say, I was here for season 2 with when Kara was first here, and man, I'm telling you, as somebody that's watched her blossom, she is amazing and certainly an inspiration to me and many others. She's affected so many people in a positive way. It's incredible, and it's certainly an inspiration to me. It certainly keeps me here.
Thanks, Michael. And I love watching your beard grow every season. It makes me so happy. No, no, it's been such a joy. Well, and actually, I just want to piggyback off that too, to add is that, Edward, a lot of us joined Autonomy feeling really alone, of not having people local in our lives that we could have these kinds of conversations with and like really feel that kind of connection. And then in joining Autonomy and starting to have these interactions, even though they're virtual, so many of us felt so much less alone after joining Autonomy. So yeah, that's something I've experienced. I know a lot of us have experienced. I'm sure, Michael, you probably resonate with that as well, just of how much our worlds have actually expanded through this space.
Absolutely. I think to tag on to that, I've made, connections with people that that already feel significant, long lasting, and, we're sending each other things in the mail and, sharing wisdom and knowledge with each other, completely separate and not really related to Autonomy, and it's friendships that have blossomed out of Autonomy that are they're very nourishing, and really, I'm so grateful for the community in Autonomy. So, and Edward, you said one of the things I heard you say is that you currently are working in your own business, but you're thinking maybe you should change that up. I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't work for myself. I work a 9 to 5, except earlier than that. Job, and there's absolutely room in the content. There's a purpose to the content, to the information that's taught in Autonomy, for growth for those of us that are working as employees of a business or in any other capacity. The ability to network with people has been super valuable to, I mean, that's what attracted me to Autonomy initially, was the idea of, okay, all right, how does this networking thing work? I don't want to do networking that feels icky and yucky. I want to be authentic with people and make real connections and learn how to give to a person and be able to receive in a growth mindset with folks. And so that was one of the things that attracted me most. So I don't know if that's if that's part of the piece of what's got what you were questioning about, and what's hanging you up in thinking about signing up, or if that doesn't speak to your question at all. But
yeah, you're right. A lot of it is networking. I realize. I mean, it's a complicated story with me. It's a family business. It's been my family for a very long time. And like multiple generations even. And it's like, well, I realized that one of the things that's important for any kind of business, especially like the business I'm in, it's about networking and about really reaching out to people and really making sure that people trust you And then it's just I've been so disillusioned in recent years about what my work is, just because it's difficult and it's not always the most rewarding financially. I mean, it is rewarding on an inner standpoint, I guess, and emotionally it can be rewarding, but it can be also very frustrating too. So I don't know. I was just going through a lot of different changes and things, and just thinking like, how else can I really like pivot? How can I really be prosperous in this work? And so that's what I was just wondering about. So
And I could see, autonomy being really helpful to you no matter which way you decide. I mean, it's really powerful in helping to strengthen those communication muscles, the way that, you're talking and relating to people. And of course, the networking opportunities. It's also incredibly powerful for just, I think that self-connection and being able to like really discover what it is you want to do. Is this work that you want to continue doing? Do
yeah,
you feel called to do this? And if so, then how can we clear away the obstacles so that it is financially rewarding for you? Like that's the goal. And otherwise, okay, is this not something that I'm really aligned with anymore? All right, then what do you want to do next? And so just helping you to figure that out. And I hate to keep saying it, but then also like getting out of your own way. And I think that's just all of us, like getting out of our own way so that we can take the steps, we can fail forward and take risks and figure it out.
yeah, I think that's a big part of it too. I
And
know I
having
have a lot of like
support.
blocks and things like internally.
And those things, it's like, again, we can have all the, we can know exactly what we need to do next, but if our own self-limiting beliefs and these things internally and that scammer voice are getting in the way, you're not going to be following through. We're not going to be taking the next steps that we need to take. And so this
Right.
is why, autonomy is such a powerful playground for just getting rid of those scarcity mindsets, getting out of those mentalities so that you can start to just really follow through and do what you want to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. What's bubbling up out there?
So I see we do have, there's Carlos on the lawn. Is that our autonomy graduate, Carlos?
Getting called out.
And then I see Rawad is listening.
How about
Ro-
anybody? Just comments, questions, curiosities.
Yeah, I had a quick or a couple questions that I thought of.
Fantastic. Go ahead, Peter.
So I actually had my call with Lisa today, and it's funny because I actually really relate to your story, Kara, in terms of where I'm at right now. Like the past couple of years, I've been working at a local golf course, and which is similar to that waitressing job that I think you had. And I have bigger aspirations and bigger visions for myself. But so the first couple questions that I had, and I guess I can share, my vision if it makes sense. But you talked about a few things. Number one was like having Ron mentor you. I was on the call when Ron talked last week, and I was really drawn to, his work and just the way he spoke and everything too. But you mentioned being mentored by him, and I feel like that's something that would really help me, especially like going through the program, like being mentored by someone that's been through it before, not only to help me with the, what I'm going through, but um, you know, anything else I'm pursuing outside the class too. Um, so that was number one. And
Yeah, well,
then
let
go
me
ahead.
speak to that, and then we'll keep going with more questions. So because Ron and I fell into he actually, it's something that he does is he teaches and mentors coaches as part of his work. So he's a coach and he also mentors coaches. He does, do this for a pretty hefty price tag. He and I were able to, it's kind of one of the things I learned in autonomy was, there's more value than money. And he and I were able to offer come to a great arrangement of making some trades where, I help out him with some marketing work, and then he's been able to continue this ongoing mentorship with me. So, we're meeting almost weekly. So, that's been, a really blessing. And again, it's just another thing that I learned in autonomy is that there's more value to be given than just currency and financial exchange. There's tons of different ways of value exchange. And so kind of starts to open up potential possibilities of like, hey, what can I offer someone? And part of autonomy is also learning how to make an offer, how to really put it out there. So, that's number one. And then number two is that this is why I've continued to coach students in autonomy. Is like, there's a whole lot of content to go through, and 12 weeks, it's like a fire hose of information. There's a ton of stuff to take in. It's amazing. It can also be a little bit overwhelming. And so part of what I do has been helping students, on their journey going through autonomy. And I don't like to say hand holding because that's really not what it is, but I'm holding people accountable. I'm helping them to clear away that mental clutter so that they can have the space and like reflect and really figure out, find that self-connection and figure out, how they want to move forward. What next steps do they need to take? Does something, does the path really resonate with me, or do I need to explore something else? There's tons of different things out there. And so, this is something that I'm really passionate about, is helping, autonomy students on their journey. So that is something that I offer as like a group coaching program, as well as one-on-one coaching.
And that's just included in
It is not
like the
included in
autonomy?
autonomy in
Okay.
the initial autonomy offer, but that's something that you would enroll first, and then you would get a little bit more information.
So that would be with you separately.
It would be separately. So, and then a chunk of what I make goes back into Richard and the autonomy community for sustainability. So
Right.
that's how I work.
Okay. Cool.
Fantastic.
And Peter,
Oh.
you had more thoughts there.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just share, where I think I'm going. So, because I've been working at this local golf course, I really just want more steady income. I mean, eventually I want to have my own businesses that I run, and I can do that and just be, self-sustaining. I won't at some point, but I just feel a lot of overwhelm because I'm not stable financially at the moment.
Mhm.
And so I really just want a remote job during the week. And that's kind of what resonated when you said you have a 9 to 5-ish job, Megan, that you do during the week. So I want something remote so I can live and be wherever I want. And then, I can do that for however long I need to do it. And then in my spare time, I can just build up, these other online businesses. And when the time comes, if I'd like to, I can step away from that, weekly job. So,
Absolutely.
I've loved what I've heard, and I just wanted to hear if you had any input or thoughts as to what specifically could help me from your perspective.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's great because, that's kind of what I started to do was transition. It wasn't this like, all right, I quit everything and then, move into working, full-time freelancing. It was a gradual thing. And so figuring out like what kind of freelance work I wanted to do, what could I offer, starting to pick up jobs. And then it's kind of like a teeter totter, right? Where it's like all this at the waitress thing, freelancing, and then it kind of started to teeter the other way. And so just it was a transition process until then I was ready to go, full-time independent working for myself. And it took me a little bit, just mostly because of my own mentality where I had this fear of, oh no, my safety net. I mean, I worked at the restaurant for like 1 or 2 days a week for probably 6 months before I finally, and like it's in the video, it was COVID that finally gave me the little kick to like, okay, I don't need to be doing this anymore. I'm done. But that was a little part of my own, some lingering scarcity mindset coming up. And this is, that like, oh, that scarcity, like, oh, am I gonna make enough money? Oh, I can't afford that. autonomy teaches you to go from saying, you know, I can't afford that, to how can I afford that? How can I get creative? How can I, you know, open up the possibilities? Just that little shift from I can't to how can I opens up so many doors. And I'm personally a believer that the universe is conspiring with us, especially when we're, you know, aligned. And I think we're powerful manifestors. And so staying aligned with yourself, really trusting that, okay, if I am staying, you know, true to myself and connected, things are going to fall into place for me. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do the stuff that I need to do, but the universe is on my side and I'm going to make it happen. And that's what I feel like you could absolutely, you know, do for what I think you will do for yourself, Peter, is, you know, keeping that vision in your head of where you want to go, being smart about it and knowing like, okay, you know I'm not going to just quit the golf course, totally, you know, kick the bucket right now and just like dive into it without a plan. No, you're going to be smart and shift your way out of there. But the more that you start to move in a direction that you feel called to, the more things are going to continue to fall into place. And I know we're on this call and I'll say it again, I absolutely 100% believe that autonomy would help you with that. And, you know, yeah, it's an investment. It's an investment. It's not an expense. Autonomy is an investment that does give you a return tenfold. And again, it's not just 12 weeks. It is ongoing. I've been at this for, you know, 5 years, however long it's been since season 2, so that I've been going at it. And, you know, my life continues to evolve and strengthen, and now I'm in a whole new career path, and, you know, it just keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah, I see the value as you know, way more than, let's say, what it would cost. So therefore it isn't, I do see it as an investment. And I'm like 100% sure I'm going to do it. I just need to figure out whether I'm going to do, you know, a payment plan or just go ahead and pay full. But I did have one last question, and you know, with everything going on the past 3 years, I'm just, it seems like everyone in this community is at least somewhat similar, like-minded in all this from what I've heard. But, you know, I wasn't a big fan of the whole COVID situation, and you know, I just think it was a bit crazy, and you know, I don't believe everything that they were telling us. And so I was wondering if kind of pretty much everyone, or at least a lot of the people in the community, kind of see it that way too.
Absolutely. I mean, if I wouldn't say 100%, I'd say 99%. I mean, that is, you know, a big part of us, a part of the, how do I say it? The part of autonomy and that sense of choice is recognizing when there is not choice, and recognizing when those that are attempting to pull the strings, those that are making, you know, the regulations, those that are, you know, forming the narrative, are trying to take that choice away.
Mhm.
And that's something that those of us in the community, you know, really all resonate with. I haven't met anybody that hasn't.
And I think to tag on to that, it's autonomy. I think if we can, you know, give one specific label that covers pretty much everybody, I think it's a community of people that are willing to ask questions.
Mhm.
Right. And that's the basis of any journey, right? The only way to have any growth is to ask the question and to say, what else is possible, or what do I not know, or where is my knowledge or my thinking limiting me and holding me back in ways that I can see are not what's best for me, where I can envision something better for myself, and I just need, you know, space and the freedom to express that and to, you know, to go forward. But with the boundaries of being excellent to each other, and, you know, being mindful that we're caring for one another, and it's the community does an excellent job of that, expressing the excellence of being careful that we're being supportive, even if we're offering someone something that might be not a criticism, but hey, I think you could do better if you X. You know, that if we offer that to one another in a caring space, it's a community that grows forward from those sorts of things. Sorry, I lost the track of what I was trying to say, so I'm just rambling now.
No, I love it. I love it. And I'll say, Peter and everybody, it's like the autonomy. There are two rules in autonomy. One is no masters, no slaves. The other is just be excellent to each other. And so we're all coming in, wanting to better ourselves, wanting to grow, wanting to succeed. And then you're surrounded by just hundreds of people that want you to succeed and, want to do everything that they can to, lovingly push you in that direction. And so this is why, like we've got a whole space where you can, put stuff out there for feedback and get really valuable, constructive criticism that you're like, oh, yes, thank you. Thank you for helping me grow. So it's really a phenomenal space.
Cool.
I
Thank
hope
you
to
for
see
all
you
that.
there.
I just want to add on that one, like parenting is a great topic that I think you see a wide range of people's perspectives, and not everybody's on the same page. But I think everybody respects everybody for doing that. I've certainly witnessed a lot of really, in-depth questions about different situations in a very, non-critical, helpful kind of exploration of, how do I feel about this, or, those kind of things. And to me, yeah, you don't have an opportunity to see anything quite like that. I mean, I've been to college and I've been to, a lot of different business enterprises and meetings and self-help groups and stuff like that, and I've never seen anything quite like the open engagement that we have. And thankfully, I think Richard is is a great guide for us in that regard. He's a great example because he is very thoughtful, and he really does what's my favorite favorite saying? He's got a lot of favorite sayings, but I would say, there's always room for excellence. That leaves, it's just that opportunity to just be excellent, and be excellent in your own way. And when you have the support of other people to do that, it allows you to just be yourself.
Excellent, excellent point. One of my favorite Richardisms is um, learning the answer. Learning is the answer. What's the question? Right? The basis of how do we do anything new is we have to question, we have to have the openness to be able to explore the space. All right, so I just want to make sure that everybody on the line, that you folks are in contact, or that you have the ability to schedule a Blueprint call with Lisa. I want to encourage all of you, if you have more questions and you feel like you didn't get your questions answered here tonight, reach out to Lisa so that you can get any of those further questions asked. And I'm going to paste the URL into the chat here for everybody, if I can multitask. And are there any other questions? Anything else that anybody wants to ask about the autonomy experience or the community?
Well, I just wanted to thank you, Kara, for your inspirational story. I thought it was awesome. And, I haven't done the call, but it's made me think that I should make the call. And I just wanted to thank you all for what you do. I think it's awesome. That's all.
Oh, thank you. And I highly encourage, doing the call. And the call doesn't mean, scheduling a Blueprint call doesn't mean that you're immediately 100% committing to joining the course. And you will come away with that call with some really valuable information and insight that you can take with you regardless of what you decide to do. So I definitely encourage everyone to schedule their Blueprint call if you haven't already. And thank you very much for that feedback. I love sharing my story, and I love being able to talk to all of you, and it just this feeds my soul. So thank you.
Fantastic. Well, let me share some of the things that are coming up for us within the autonomy space, events that we have on our calendar. So Autonomy Season 11 will be kicking off soon. We'll be kicking off in March. And so if you sign up now, right now, there's currently a 10% discount. And the start date, we are going to start March 15th. We'll start with the global meet and greet, where you can come together and meet more of the graduates and meet your fellow students. It's a super fun event where those of us, we come together and start kind of gathering our energy, getting our chi in a pile to get ready for the season. So, and then, yeah, just a reminder, if you can schedule your blueprint call with Lisa, just remind her that we're talking about the 10% discount here in this Autonomy Quest call. And then there's also an event happening this not tomorrow, but oh shoot, when is it? On Saturday, the 24th of February. There's an event happening, which is the VIP Summit 3. It'll be an event hosted by Richard and Autonomy, and it'll be Richard Grove, John Bush, Jay Dyer, Ryan Christian Christian of The Last American Vagabond, Jordan Page, Mark Passio of What on Earth Have You Been Missing? Or that's not the right way to say it.
What on earth is happening?
What on Earth is Happening? That's right. Thanks, Kara. Courtney Turner, Pete Quinones, and many more. So it'll be a webinar, a summit of the VIP. It stands for the Very Independent Producer. So it's a panel of public speakers. It's information on how those folks had their journey to how it is that they go out there and speak truth. And so if you're interested in joining that event, it's a free event that's happening. We'll send out the URL for that one to your emails for which you signed up to this event here. So that's coming up on the 24th. And then some of the gifts that we have coming out for you guys. There's a media a course that was offered. So there's the Mindset one, how to be anti-fragile. So that webinar will give you guys a link to that one. And then also this evening, so directly following this call, Mike Nimitz and myself, we're going to host an evening. We're going to watch hour 4 of the Ultimate History Lesson, which is a documentary that Richard produced about 11 years ago. And so it's Richard interviewing the school teacher from New York, John Taylor Gatto, who's also an author. And I think hour 4 might be my favorite. It's the hour where you find out how to find freedom, I think. Oh, sorry, spoilers. So if you guys are interested in joining that Zoom call, we're going to kick that off at 9:30 Eastern time, so in about an hour from now. And I'll share I can share the Zoom link with you guys for that in the chat also. And fantastic, it'll be wonderful. So we'll watch the discussion and then we'll have a Q&A afterwards. So I'll get you guys the Zoom information for that here in the chat. And we also have, for students that have made the commitment that are signed up for autonomy, there's going to be a landing pad event. There's actually, we'll host 3 sessions of the landing pad event. So we will meet on Friday, March 1st, Friday, March 8th, and also on Friday, March 13th at 7 o'clock Eastern. And we'll get together. It's like an open house. It'll just be open, fun and games. We'll do some activities to mix in order to get to know each other more. And it'll be graduates and incoming season 11 students. And so we're looking forward to having any of you guys there that are signing up for autonomy this season. It should be a really excellent time to get together and start forging those connections with like-minded folks. So that should be a good time. Another one of the free gifts that'll come as a link in your email. We will give you access to download the 19 Essential Skills for Success as a document. So the story on how that was created, it came out of Autonomy season 1, I believe. Or did it come out of, did it come out of season 2?
It was season 2 or 3.
All right.
Yeah, so a team of us kind of put that together based on, stuff that we'd learned from Richard and from his some of his documents, and then we just kind of helped bring it together. There's a little bit more to that, but
for sure. Awesome. I love how it was a distillation of the content that had been taught. And so it's quite a valuable document for sure. I know, I saw that information before I signed up to Autonomy, and I was like thinking about, how to apply these things. And I'm like, yeah, this is really, it calls them essential. And I think they really are. We'll also get you guys the Autonomy Mindset 2 Level Up lecture. So I'm posting some of these URLs in the chat. If you guys want to grab those, you're welcome to them there. But don't stress over it. They're also going to be in your email, in your inbox. All right. And let me just check with folks here. Are there any other questions? Anybody have anything else they'd like to ask?
Hi, is it Faye? Okay.
Hi. Thank you so much for the presentation. I've been multitasking, but I'm listening while I cook. I had a question about once you're a graduate, and I know you can keep coming back and attending future sessions, it feels like there's different hosts for these Friday night events. And of course, there's different graduates who are featured. And I wondered if there is, I don't know I want to put this delicately without putting anybody on the spot, but is there like an incentive for people to run these Friday night things? Are the hosts employed by Autonomy? Are there assignments, and is there a responsibility for people to give back after they complete? I'm just sort of curious.
I can speak to as far as, there being responsibilities to feedback, no. Or to give back, no. It's all by choice. Megan, as an Autonomy guide, maybe you can speak to that a little bit more.
Absolutely. That's a great question, Faye. Thank you so much for asking. Appreciate it. And the multitasking, that's excellent. We encourage multitasking. If you can, be getting something else done while you listen to us on the Friday nights, then that's a good way to engage with the content as well. The autonomy experience, everything is voluntary. Anything that you want to do, anything you want to participate in, you're welcome to come and participate. There's nobody going to come and make you do anything. If you don't want to give back and help present things on the Friday night, no problem. Absolutely. It's not required of anybody. We had approximately 60 students in season 10. And I think a handful of us, maybe 6 or 7 of us, have decided that we want to give it back. And so we have signed up to be guides. It's not required. I feel very passionately about the autonomy community. I was talking about, my graduate that I live with, which is my son, who actually preceded me in the course. So he was a season 8 student. And the growth that I saw in my son was just absolutely awe-inspiring. And what I saw in him, I went, wait a second, you learned how to do that in autonomy? I've got to have a piece of that. I have to take this course because I know that skill that's part of what's holding me back in my life. And so my the growth that I've seen and what I appreciate in what autonomy has given to my son and then now to myself, I just feel like I have to continue to give that to new students as they come in to help facilitate. It's my way of reaching out and touching the world. So nobody is required to give anything back. Nobody, and I'm not getting paid a dime. I'm not getting paid a dime to say any of this. I'm not getting any incentive back. I'm just here giving on a Friday night after I worked all day, and I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to host this and then the John Taylor Gatto session after this. So it's a joy. I enjoy being able to give back.
Okay. Thank you. That speaks so much to the power of the program for people. Thanks.
Hey, Megan, do those 60 students in season 10 include alumni or just new students?
It must include some alumni.
I would say that, most of those were new students. And then we have,
Sure.
tons of the grads and that continue to engage and come back, so it's like our community is I think all in all 500 or 600 strong. And then there's, at least like a couple hundred of us that, in some way are participating continuously over the seasons. And then people will, come in, they'll take the course and then they'll, take off for a couple seasons and then come back up and say, hey, I got all this new stuff going on. Like, I'm ready to, come back. I have a whole new lens. I have a whole new vision. Let's go at it. And so, again, it is choice. It just really comes down to choice and what's going to work for you. And the doors are always open.
So you said there's 500 to 600 people in the total.
There's actually about 720 now.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's like an invaluable network.
Yeah.
And then
And the quality of people in the community is just phenomenal. Like there is not a person that I have spoken to in the autonomy community that I walked away and went, well, that conversation was useless or that conversation. No, I have gotten benefit from every person that I have talked to in the autonomy community. It's just been so phenomenal. And it's really prior to and the feeling of like, yeah, I've got these ideas and I'm kind of all by myself and, coming into a space where I can openly, freely share the questions that I have about the world around me and going, hey, I see this thing and I can't make sense of those two pieces of information and coming into a community that, hey, well, you might look at this piece of information and this piece of information and this book and this book and this book, that have information as to, that would help you to digest why those two pieces of information are disparate. But yeah, the community has just been phenomenal. And I think last season, maybe 10 or 15 different graduates were regulars that participated with us. And I did enjoy, it was really phenomenal to work with the graduates to get the benefit of, them having digested some of what they had already learned and then coming back into the space and then asking deeper questions or those questions of, okay, I've been working this piece and this is where I'm still stuck. You know, to be able to look at it and see, okay, if you don't get it in 13 weeks, if you don't solve everything and become ascended master and, you know, master of your own universe, you know, within 13 weeks, it's actually okay because we still have time to work on it.
Peter, do you have another question?
Coaching website. You have a coaching website? I tried to do a quick search and I couldn't find anything.
I do. I'm feeling conflicted because this is an autonomy event and I'm wondering if I should.
You're clear, Kara.
Oh, thanks, Richard.
Yeah.
My website is authenticexpressions.net.
Say it again.
Authenticexpressions.net. And that's my website.
We try not to overwhelm first-time students with also and above, like there's the curriculum and it's like drinking out of a fire hose, right? It's like trying to drink from a tsunami through a straw. So it's supposed to keep you happy coming back season after season because there's always a lot more to learn. But oftentimes, unless you're in the VIP package or one of the advanced packages, accountability can be overkill for people who are already overwhelmed. And so we just try to leave that as like, there's nothing else you have to buy to make autonomy work. However, once you've been through autonomy, the next most effective thing you can do is train yourself to make goals and have an accountability coach until you no longer need that extra crutch, because that's the key modality that lets you keep getting what you want out of your actions in life.
Thanks, Richard.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I also wanted to say, first off, hi, everybody. Every couple of years I get sick, and today is one of those days. So I really had to muster. I was laying down, I was listening to this. It was making me feel better. And I was like, you know what? I should get up and say hi. And I'm going to hang out for the Gatto part 4 tonight. But Megan, such a wonderful job hosting this. Thank you. I know it's not something you do regularly, but you're really good at it.
It was super fun, triggering the complexity a little bit. I haven't done the screen sharing and all the
That
tech
means she's in
stuff.
growth mode, everybody. Like, so you see her as she's the authority. She's running this meeting, but she put herself into growth mode and she's out of her comfort zone tonight and she's getting her growth on and she's going to own that for the rest of her life. So that's part of what we do as well.
Just put that little feather right in my hat. You betcha. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I hope you start to feeling better there. Get you some oregano oil.
Actually, I've already taken olive leaf. I got all that good stuff going on. I got all my supplements.
Good. Okay. Excellent.
Are there any other questions for this meeting? And I also wanted to point out the Blueprint strategy call, that's yours to take. You don't have to join autonomy. There's no expectations. We don't sign anyone up during those calls. The idea is I know as a person who teaches sales as problem solving and not pushing, persuading, convincing, and conniving, I know if I just answer everyone's questions, people move ahead naturally. So the Blueprint strategy call gives you a better plan for your future, gives you options. Some of the people who get that strategy, they get into autonomy sooner than later. Some get in later, some not at all. We are here to serve people when they're ready, when they need it, which for most of us was like sooner than we got it. So we keep learning.
Absolutely. I think my only regret that I can say about autonomy is that I didn't sign up sooner.
You made up for that by signing up your son first.
I think so.
Cody's amazing. Hey,
I
and
think so.
Cody worked for us. Like, there's been many graduates that we've hired over the years. Her son, Cody, worked for us. He still works for us doing live streaming, but he graduated from even working for us because he's like, I got a job in the real world. I'm out here I'm making my own moves now. So yeah, it's, we're like an incubator, a launch pad type of situation. And those who want to continue coming back and helping to facilitate that launch paddiness, great. But we want to see people go out into the world and make change in the right direction.
So Richard, Joshua Parker on the line is asking if the VIP Summit, VIP 3, if all of those folks are autonomy graduates.
Let's see. I don't know that they've all formally graduated, but everyone on that panel has at least had access and participated to some extent, from my understanding. Like Passio, I don't know that he went through the course so much, but we had a whole bunch of autonomy graduates help get some of his projects launched, like the One Great Work Network and these sort of things back in the day. Yeah, Jordan Page, he's gone through autonomy. He has an autonomy course on, it's called Strings of Freedom. He teaches guitar because he's a worldwide traveling musician, and that's one of the things he does really well. He's taught thousands of people how to play guitar. So it seemed natural to be like, hey, why don't we record that? And you have an evergreen product that can bring you in some revenue for your family. I think he's got like 8 kids. So all these things help in the variety of ways. Jay Dyer produced a course, Ryan Christian produced a course, John Bush produced a course. So those are ways that you can make your offer to the market. You record it one time and it's evergreen. So even though Jay's making money off his philosophy course, he hasn't thought about that probably in 2 years since he made it, but he still gets paid for it. So when I hear people saying they're trying to improve their relationship with money, it really comes down to just bringing a stronger offer to the market that is consistently wanted and valued. And there's lots of places you can build those skills, and hardly any of them need a college degree or any type of rocket science-y type calculus. So success is attainable for the average person. It's just well hidden, and the roads to get there are like counterintuitive. The VIP Summit this weekend, very independent producer. We're showing how we start, because the idea of all these VIP conferences is lowering the bar to entry of what we do, so that people don't look at Passio and they're like, I could never do that. Or they look at Ryan Christian, I could never do that. Like, we were all viewers at one point, and we're like, we read some stuff, and then we're like, we have something to say back, and then we started doing it consistently. And so like, there's different people, and they all have different methods, but we all kind of do the same thing to bolster people's intellectual self-defense and to defend cognitive liberty in the world. So sharing skills and helping people do likewise. That was a good question. Thank you, Joshua.
Janet was asking for the link for joining us to watch the John Taylor Gatto screening.
Yeah, last week we had people come from this meeting over there. That's perfectly acceptable. Come get a little autonomy culture for free.
That link is also in your account if you sign into the Autonomy Quest where you signed up. All of those links are sitting there, all of the free gifts, the anti-fragile mindset. So you'll be able to grab it there too if you didn't grab it out of the chat already.
Thank you,
Thanks
Leah.
so much, Leah. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And, you know, somebody asked a question about the graduates matriculating back into the season. What you got to realize is that the graduates are running all of their own events. Every single day, somebody is running an event that they've created, that they're using it as a test tube.
That they're passionate about. Yeah.
Right. People are literally creating their dreams with the autonomy students, you know, with each other. So, you know, that's one of the things that the graduates are coming back to do. You know, and that's available for everybody. You know, Rawad, he's got so many things he creates that people attend. Michael has so many programs he creates, and they hone it and they develop it, and then they launch those to the market, and they do that over and over and over again with their ideas and their inspirations and what they want to create in the world. And there's nothing like this.
That's why it needed to be done, because these things are needed.
Yeah, I just say, you know, in regard to the guides, there's, I think currently there's over 30 guides. So there's quite a few different seasons of contributors to the guides. And there was more because there are people that come in and there are people that go out. And, but that allows things to happen and ideas to be thrown out there, like the ultimate history lesson that we're doing tonight. That was one of the ideas that, you know, we just threw out there, and, you know, somebody bid on it, and, you know, a couple of people said, yeah, I'll contribute, you know, I'll do the video editing, or I'll do this, or I'll do the shadow hosting. and now we're doing it.
Well, part of that starts out. I have a fun rule. Now, Mike, he quotes my rule a different way, but the way I like to say it is, you're right. Yeah. So the way I like to say it is, if you came up with a good idea, you're going to be in charge of that idea, and we can come to your meeting. So you just let us so instead of us fielding people's complaints or do this to improve the thing, hey, you're in charge. I'll come to your meeting. We'll help you facilitate that improvement. But we want people to mix the responsibility with the observation. Like, here's problem and solution together, because that's what really makes it go in life. Now, how do you phrase it, Mike? Because I heard you say it a couple of weeks ago, and you made me laugh out loud when I was listening. I was like, oh, that's how he hears me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You caught me on that.
You thought of it. You're in charge of it. It was something. It was pithy. It was good.
Let's see.
But it was it was a shortened version. Like you thought of it. You're in charge of it.
I think it was something about like, if you see a problem, it's yours to fix or something like that.
Yeah. If you see a problem, it's your job to fix it. That's a little bit different than my connotation, but yeah, we want to help each other be responsible, and we do that by acting responsibly. And then that rubs off on everyone else. You know, the culture of excellence, it's really hard to come in and be a troll when everyone's being so nice and everybody has such value. You almost feel like by being a troll, you are short shrifting yourself. How about that? That's not like the internet world. So we had to create a place that was like, you can't just buy this course. There's no place on any website where you can click a button and just buy this course without going through the process. And if I really just wanted to make money, I'd sell it to everybody. I wouldn't care about your experience. I wouldn't grow it like it's a garden, every season coming back and adding to it. So yeah, this is my life's work since I became a whistleblower, and it's taken a long time to create it, but it's totally worth it. Because I see the reflection in all the people I work with and all the people that graduate, their lives, their families changing for the better, because those people took some responsibility and took advantage of tools that we organized. So I'm not doing anything that magical. We're just organizing tools and creating schedules so that people can internalize it on a schedule that's palatable to their already busy, overwhelmed life.
Yeah, Richard, this is how you lead us. And I would say the same thing for Kara. The care that you give and the time that you take throughout the season, every season, to be there, to go through the motions every single time. You could tape it and you could phone it in, kind of thing, and you don't.
Yeah, we could try to trick people, right? I've experienced that in courses, and I don't like it. Which is why I don't have any of the slides written down. What you see on the slides is what I have to talk from. So every time I explain the slides, it's extemporaneous, it's unique, and it probably is a little bit different than last season. So if you watch more than one season, you're not always hearing the same things, even though it's the same topics. I use different examples. I mix my metaphors live. They're not always non-contradictory, but they are illustrative of what I'm talking about. So they work.
All right. Well, I'm jumping over to the other thing, but I wish everybody the best. I certainly hope to see you in next season, and because I will definitely be there. But look forward to season 11. And if you want to jump in on the John Taylor Gatto part 4, I'll be there too.
All right. This is where we do that. Kara, thank you so much. Leah, thank you so much. Megan, wonderful job. Pleasantly surprised, but not shocked, because you're already super competent and everything. But it's nice to see that you can also do this with ease.
There we go, growing the skills and figuring it out. There was a moment of I lost the thread of what I was trying to say, and that's okay. Kara saved my bacon. Good. She came in and picked up. I was fumbling the baton. It was all good. Excellent. Thank you all so much. Cool. We really enjoyed having you guys on the line. Enjoyed your questions. Book that blueprint call, have a chat with Lisa so that you can get any questions answered that were not completed here, and determine what are the best next steps for you.
Excellent. Awesome. Giving everyone a fair chance. That's what I like to see. All right. I'm going over to the other meeting. I'll see you guys there.
All right. See you. Just a minute. Jumping over there. All right. Thanks, everybody.